have.
Yeah.
Right.
You want the purple guy wearing orange shorts? Yeah.
It's a dream.
And last live stream that we did together, it looked like it was leaning towards a dream theory, and as you said in the video, it seemed like a bit of an easy solution.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, it's a bit of a gimme, it's a bit of an OP, I think you referred to it as an OP
I did.
storyline.
It is an OP theory.
You could just say, well, that's completely fine, because obviously it's a dream, anything can happen.
Right.
You want the purple guy wearing orange shorts? Yeah.
It's a dream.
And it was the evidence you put forward to it. A couple of examples was the symmetry with the Foxy.
Yeah.
Two different things. Obviously, Foxy being out of order doesn't have the head in the bedroom in FNAF 4. So it's out of order in the game. Makes sense. That's quite a nice tie-in. But also the brother as well. The jump scare, as you said, he pops out from behind the telly or out from the bed. It's a very, very similar jump scare as to both, mainly Five Nights at Freddy's 1, but kind of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as well. The way he leaps out from the darkness in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, that fits in quite nicely. And then the toy animatronics as well in FNAF 4. Chica's broken beak, symmetry in FNAF 2, along with Mangle as well. Like, a lot of people were trying for a while to explain why Mangle was in the bedroom in FNAF 4, why Mangle had two heads, why Mangle was broken up, and why Mangle would play. Why would kids be allowed to play with something as violent? Well, as an animatronic, you're talking about the timeline. You wouldn't get to touch Chuck E. Cheese's animatronics. You wouldn't get to touch if you went to Disneyland, or you wouldn't get to go up and just grab Mickey Mouse and whether it's a human or not, you wouldn't get to grab Mickey Mouse, and it just wouldn't happen. So there's no way that the company would be willing to let something as potentially harmful be touched. And I really, really want to believe a timeline. Like, I've been looking at it from every angle, and I've obviously not seen the most recent video, but I really wanted to believe the timeline. The dream, I can't find too many faults. I did catch the very start of the.
Great.
Talking about.
Awesome.
You talked about the puppet.
Yes.
How the puppet didn't fit in with it, and that doesn't fit in with the There's just something. There's something.
It doesn't.
Missing there. There's something missing there. And I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Did you tune into the stream while we were running?
Well, yeah, while running, he was jogging to my sultry voice, obviously, like.
Exactly.
It was just spurring me. You know,
It was thrusting you forward. It was exciting you onward. No, absolutely. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for getting your work out to get here on time. And join us. It's really awesome to have you. So one of the things that I was gonna bring up now is obviously the book, right? So the book is kind of the big question mark now. Like, it was announced last week. It's out yesterday. It was supposed to be out in a couple days here. Everyone thought, oh, this is FNAF 5. Oh, there's this new poster on Scott's website. What is it? What is it? Oh, it's a novel. That's interesting. That's unexpected. Especially in the wake of everyone expecting FNAF World, everyone expecting the FNAF movie. Out of nowhere comes this book. What are your guys' thoughts? What do you know about this book? Do you have any thoughts? I know, Dawko, you have read it. Smike, you started, and Raz, what do you think?
I'm on chapter 5 currently. I'm really enjoying it, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not a massive reader. Like the last book I read was 50 Shades of Grey, purely for educational.
Sure. You keep telling us that, Raz. Sure. Okay.
It was my girlfriend was reading it at the time, and I thought, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it. I don't know how much you've talked about it, but obviously
not much.
It's both from what I've read so far. It's like a retelling of the story, and if you go into it with that mind, like Scott said on his Steam posts, then you'll thoroughly enjoy it. From what I've seen, it's the same sort of idea, the same sort of mythos, the same principles behind things, but obviously it's reimagined for a book.
Yep.
Like, the lore in a game isn't going to match entirely up with a film or a book. It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Without like full-on hours and hours of dialogue.
Yep.
But I'm thoroughly enjoying it from the 5 chapters I've read so far.
Cool. So Dawko, I know that you have read the whole thing. You know, you recently did a video about this, kind of covering some of the major points. Without getting too much into it, you know, Scott has made it very clear on Steam that this is taking place in an alternate timeline, alternate universe. You know, it's not 100% adhering to the story that we know. Or at least it's adhering to the story, but not all like the details about every single thing that we come to know and expect about Five Nights at Freddy's in the games. So to you, what does the book show us, or like what does it kind of like elucidate about the story of the games, and what doesn't it do? What does it deviate from? I'm really curious to see, like, what is this actually something that will help theorists moving forward, you know, piecing more of this puzzle together, or is this something that's just kind of like a side story, more like fan fiction, or just like more immersed in this world, but not something that's going to help those people who are really looking for the answers of FNAF proper?
Am I allowed to say spoilers?
This
is a lot.
As much as you can, keep it as like top line as possible. You know, like don't reveal too much, but like any general themes or thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. So apart from the ending, a lot of the book actually, to me, and I don't know, you got to chapter 5, Raz. When you read the book, some of the stuff matches with what we've been talking about. Like, oh, okay, so that's how it works.
Yeah.
One of the parts which isn't spoilery at all, I'm just going to say something what's not spoilery, is that in the parts and services room in the book, there's these costumes, which are temporary costumes, and they are like different coloured costumes which we've never seen before, which we wouldn't see in the game.
Yeah.
And that solves what Scott was talking about in the game, about the temporary costumes being used.
Okay.
So I feel like in the book he has added a lot of things for us to feel like, okay, that's been solved, you know, let's theorise about that.
Sure.
But the ending of the book is weird with the game. It doesn't fit in entirely. I'm not going to say what happens because it's a big spoiler.
Sure.
But it doesn't match with the game. It kind of does, but not how we want it to be.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And do we know what location this book takes place in? Like which of the FNAF locations it does?
Yeah. The book.
I think you can say that, and that's not spoilery. That's just more setting.
The cover of the book is the FNAF 1 characters, so
sure.
It's at the FNAF 1 location.
Okay.
Because he talks about Pirate Cove, doesn't he, Raz? Pirate Cove's there. None of the other places have Pirate Cove with the purple curtains and stuff. It also talks a bit about Fredbear's Family Diner, which was really cool.
Yep.
Like the main character goes back to Fredbear's Family Diner.
So we do go back all the way to the beginning of the timeline then with Fredbear Family Diner. Okay, that's cool.
And there are actually dates. He mentions dates about when it was built. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What date? I'm guessing it's somewhere in the like mid to late 70s.
No.
Oh, I suck.
They actually built the Fredbear's Family Diner in 1982.
Oh, 80. Okay.
Yeah.
I was more close because and for you guys watching the stream, this episode of Game Theory, I for a while my script took it back to the very origins of animatronics, because animatronics actually date back to Walt Disney.
The first version of the script was talking about like Walt Disney and like the opening of Disneyland and stuff.
It was crazy. It was also going to
direction.
be like Dateline Unsolved Mysteries presents style, and then I'm like, what am I doing? What a stupid idea this was. And so I'm like, rewrite the whole thing. This I kid you not, the episode that we aired today has been rewritten no less than 4 times. Because new information, me suddenly having a realization and adding in stuff, changing the style that it's being presented, all that. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up was, so Chuck E. Cheese, which was also founded by the founder of Atari, funny enough. The creator of Atari is actually the founder of Chuck E. Cheese, which is...
Nolan Bushnell.
Yeah, exactly, Nolan Bushnell. It was all kind of a means of getting kids to stay in arcades longer. That's why Chuck E. Cheese, right? And that started in 1977. And so I'm like, oh, around that time, that's when you have Freddy Fazbear's or Fredbear Family Diner. But anyway, so we get so Fredbear starts in 1982, according to the book.
Yeah, I've got another timeline date as well. The murders are right. It happens in June, the June 26th, isn't it?
Yep.
I've got a year now from the book. It's 1985.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then, like the book, like they say, the group of people, the teenagers who saw the incident, go back to the location 10 years after.
Yep.
And that's 1995.
Yep.
They all meet together. So 10 years before, that's obviously 1985.
Which again lines up with kind of the established timeline here, where we have Fredbear Diner, we have 1983, where kind of that weird Fredbear incident with the chomp happens, but then we say before around that time, that's when the FNAF 1 missing children's incident happens. Closes down the restaurant. 1987, we have the FNAF 2 restaurant.
Yeah.
So that does fit into the established timeline that we've been concocting. Oh, so it's maybe there's more than just a dream here, guys.
You know, I was leaving some comments in the chat talking to fans, and I got banned for leaving too many comments.
What? You were leaving too many comments?
What?
I don't know if I got. It said like I got muted for a little while because I left too many comments. It said you should take a little break. So I don't know.
What?
Really? That's not from
That's
our
not
end.
us.
Yeah,
Not us.
that is not us. So maybe just
Your stuff, YouTube. Okay.
yeah, maybe it's just YouTube being like, hey, stop spamming. Smike, stop spamming, man.
Jeez.
God.
You're the one with all those
Like
Star
that
Wars
analogy,
spoilers,
like,
aren't you?
Like that's such a classic.
Yeah.
Atari chicken cheese with the arcade machines, and you can see Scott took a lot of inspiration from that. But back to the book, it actually says like the father of the main character, he would make her these little animatronic toys when she was little.
Yeah.
You have all these different designs that it shows in the beginning, which a lot of them didn't make it into the restaurant.
Yep.
But you can see the point of these designs was to keep her, I forgot her name, Charlie, was to keep Charlie company when she was sleeping. Because her mother, I mean, this is a slight, it's revealed at the very beginning. But anyway, so she you know, she's lonely, let's say, I don't know.
Sure.
She's a little girl and her father is working a lot. So he made these animatronic robots to watch over her. And that was the original design, that was the original reason why they existed, actually.
Interesting. And so one of the big reveals this week that happened was the name of the book, which is The Silver Eyes, which to me is very strange, and it made me want to go back. And one of the things that like I've kind of kept track of but never really included in a theory is when are there little pinpricks of light in their eyeballs and when aren't there, you know, because that's kind of a recurring element of the different animatronics too. For you guys who are familiar with the book and have read some of it, what is the significance of the silver eyes?
And is it spoilery, Raz?
Is it? I don't know.
It's you could sort of put it together by chapter 4. It hints in chapter 3,
Sure.
But it tells you pretty much in chapter 4 what it means.
Okay. Well, if it's spoilery, then I don't want to spoil. Like, how about I ask you this then? Does it add a lot to the lore? Is it a big significant thing?
If you look through pictures online, you'll see silver eyes.
Okay.
It is obvious.
Okay.
Once you look through, like in the actual screenshots of the games, you'll see silver eyes in the thing that's intended to.
Okay.
But I don't know whether we're on the same plot here though, Raz, because I know the exact reason for the silver eyes, but you've only got to chapter 4 and 5.
Okay.
Basically, you know, Raz, like the girl's scared of that twitchy endoskeleton in the garage. There's an endoskeleton in his father's garage that's always twitchy and horrible.